my life changed when my heart changed. My life came into focus when my heart, or the energies of my heart, were amplified, were activated in a sense, because I can distinctly look back to a point in time of August 11th, 2021, several years ago, when I woke up and there was something different. There was something taking place in my consciousness, in my awareness, with my energy. And I have memories of that event, but it was a very active movie or visions or scenes that were all a type of integration, a type of blending of energies, of visions, of images and words, but concepts. And most of it centered around love. And I can simply try to encapsulate that experience by saying, whereas before in my life, love, the word love was a word, and then I had different memories associated with it. Oh, I love you, or someone loves me. But they were words, they were images. They didn't actually bring an energy. But at that moment, at that morning, August 11th, 2021, I was being shown somehow or experiencing the energy of love. Not just a concept, a word, but I was seeing images of it. I was experiencing love. Now, in the aftermath of that, putting things back together, which I must say that August 11th, 2021 began a series of events, a series of awareness that culminated in a Kundalini activation, which took place September 24th, 2021. But I want to share a quote because I've made a lot of videos in the past where, I've talked about this Kundalini activation and, but really it all began in the heart with the energies of the heart. And I understand that, and this was during the Lion's Gate portal, and I understand that that I was receiving the energies of the fourth ray, speaking of these chakra terms and these energetic occult terms, which kind of tie into the ego and consciousness in that sense. But really, it's important to realize that my life changed. It is important for me to communicate to you, dear viewer, that my life changed when my heart changed, when it evolved. And I want to share a quote from an individual, Ramana Maharshi. I'll leave in the video thumbnail, I'll leave a picture of Ramana. But essentially, he was this great yogi that was, he doesn't have a lot of books and a lot of technical material out there because people that experienced his energy is what changed them. And it was a total presence, a total focus of heart, of consciousness that was immersed within the energies of the heart. And the heart is the fourth chakra, the heart energies is the gateway to the higher worlds. It's where we begin to no longer live so much as the animal self, but begin that crossing that bridge, that Bifrost bridge, the rainbow bridge into the higher dimensions. But the heart is the gateway. And so I want to share this quote from Ramana. It says, "The self alone is to be realized. Kundalini, Shakti, visions of God, occult powers, and their spellbinding displays are all in the self. Those who speak of these and indulge in these have not realized the self. Self is in the heart and is the heart itself. All other forms of manifestations are in the brain. The brain itself gets its power from the heart. Remaining in the heart is realizing the self. Instead of doing that, to be attracted by brain-oriented forms of disciplines and methods is a sheer waste of time. Is it not foolish to hold on to so many efforts and so many disciplines that are said to be necessary for eradicating the non-existent ignorance? So I interpret that to mean there's a lot of overcomplication, there's a lot of overthinking. And in fact, the eighth Hermetic principle is called care, but it unites everything, the energies of the heart, caring. And I believe that, in perhaps the 3 years that I've been making videos, I've kind of gone in and out of that message, and I've talked about, that experience, that change in my life. But I feel it's important right now to take a break, step back, and really emphasize and communicate to anyone who may find resonance in these videos, in this Umbanda New Earth Ashram sharing divinity message, is that it really, everything begins in the heart. It is our reality. Anything else is getting into this ego games, these brain games, and ultimately that's not very fulfilling. It's we all, everyone, we are emotional beings. And kind of one thing about the ego and consciousness, I want to share a story from Sadhguru, who I believe Sadhguru was instrumental in my Kundalini activation, because it was one of his videos of mantra, that it was an 11-hour, 11-minute, and 11-second video of mantra that I used, and it set all these energies. It activated that life force energy. It completely changed my life for the better. But that experience began with that pulsing into the heart, that sensation, those energies of the heart. And anyway, the story from Sadhguru is, he tells a story about a famous Sufi mystic, somewhere in the, Islam lands, Muslim lands, Middle East, sorry. But anyway, a famous Sufi writer, and this Sufi would set up shop in this market, and people would come and look at him and why he did his artwork and stuff. But anyway, a famous, a sort of a rich, powerful person came to this Sufi artist, mystic, and wanted this person to write him a book about how to be enlightened. And the Sufi mystic just turned around, and his response to him was, he handed him a bowl. And he said, take this bowl and go and beg today for your meal and whatnot. And, of course, the rich, powerful person was just insulted. They just, no way, why should I do that? But the point of this story is that the mystic was communicating to this rich, powerful person that he was never going to be enlightened if he couldn't get outside of his own self-importance, his own ego, and do something like that, and that's kind of my loose interpretation. But you see, the heart and the energies of the heart is what really makes this life powerful, and it really ties everything together. And the more that we can stay in our heart, and not saying that the brain is useless and the ego and all that stuff, but it really ultimately serves this heart energy, and that is how we serve ultimately the collective and ultimately ourselves. Service to self, service to others. When you think about it, service to others, when we're all in the same Christ consciousness, we're all part of the same energy of the New Earth Golden Age timeline. Namaste, Namaskaram.